Hi, everyone. It's Meredith, your evolutionary astrologer, and I have got a two-part treat for you today. I really want to share this little but very, very big astrology technique that I use while I journey through every aspect of my life. It's really fun. Anyone can use it. You don't really have to understand astrology to be able to use it, but I want to show you the hidden astrology pattern behind every single friend group. I want to show you why some people just feel compatible with you instantaneously. And I want to show you how you can instantly understand the dynamic that lives inside of the ecosystem that lives inside of your friend group using astrology. This is going to be in two parts. I'm going to have technique for you. I'm going to have a little bit of homework for you. I'm going to show you how to use this trick, this tip, this technique in your everyday life. And then I'm going to go into the exact definitions and the exact meanings. That video might be part 2, but let's explore this concept in this compatibility technique that I use all the time, especially when I'm in a group where it just clicks, or when somebody in the group, including myself, might feel awkward or left out, or when the group absolutely does not click. I'm like, okay, now I know why. It's funny because I start spinning my astrological dialogue with my own self, in my mind, sometimes silently and sometimes not so quietly. But remember that astrology isn't asking whether two people belong together, at least not deep astrology, at least not the astrology that I teach on my channel, but it's asking each soul, because I'm an evolutionary astrologer, it's asking each soul, what did you come here to contribute or learn from this pod? Have you ever met someone and within 5 minutes you thought, oh my God, where have you been all my life? I'm not trying to impress you. You're not trying to impress me, but it's like, there's not even a wondering if you like me. It's just we click. And then there are other people that are perfectly nice, perfectly smart, perfectly intelligent enough. And other people seem to just adore them. But for some reason, you never really quite find your rhythm together. You don't necessarily dislike them, but you don't just naturally get them. You don't have a natural gravitational pull. Why is that? Why do some people make you feel like, oh my God, this is just home? And other people make you feel like you have to talk over them or around them. Have you ever talked to somebody and they literally are just talking at you while you're trying to explain something and they don't even listen? Like that, like the rhythm is so off. Well, today I am going to share with you this technique that I've used with my clients a lot, but I really love using this technique with my family, my friendships, my work teams, even any kind of group. Even groups of complete strangers like book club. It's really, really simple. And once you begin seeing it, you'll never stop noticing it. So here's the story. Just yesterday, my husband and we took my niece down to the World Cup here in Seattle with like 250,000 people. My God, you guys, it was mayhem. It was so stinking sweet and so fun. And it was just electrifying. It was just so great. But it was also my daughter's birthday and my brother's birthday, but he lives in Texas. So my daughter goes to the university here and she said, Mom, can I bring my friend? And I said, absolutely, bring her, bring whoever you want. Well, lucky I found a table off the beaten path a little bit for a table for 7 because she brought 4 friends. Yeah, she brought 4 friends and they were all so adorable. They were wonderful. It was this wonderful circle of friends. And this is what inspired me to share this tip and technique with you. They were laughing, finishing each other's sentences. They were just teasing each other. They were protecting each other. They were standing up for each other. I could feel the affection between all the girls and my husband and I and my niece. And my niece is just like 2-3 years older than the girls. So she fit into the group too. We just all got along really, really well. It was weird because it was Mercury in retrograde, but it felt like it wasn't. And I couldn't help myself as an astrologer, and they all know me, believe me, they know Lauren's mom, I just had to ask them, so where's your sun, moon, and rising? Where's your sun sign? Where's your moon sign? What's your moon? Oh my God, your rising is your sun and your sun is your rising. What house is your sun in? Oh, I got to look that up. Right. And pretty soon everybody was laughing because they realized I wasn't just making conversation, I was collecting data, and then I started to see it. So, like, one person had a Scorpio moon, the other person had Scorpio rising, right? And then the other person had an eighth house sun. And then another friend had a Libra rising. Then the other friend was a Libra sun, and the other friend was a Libra moon. And I was a Libra moon, and my husband's a Libra rising, right? And then someone had their sun in the seventh house. So, different charts, different lives, different personalities. And underneath all those differences, suddenly I wasn't looking at the individual birth chart. I was looking at the ecosystem of this friendship circle. This is so powerful. And I was noticing what every person was contributing, and they were all contributing something different. And every person was feeding someone else a different piece of their heart or soul. Every person in this cute friend group, and even at this table at this World Cup event, we were all receiving something we needed from another person. And that's when I knew I needed to teach this. And so when you go out with a group of friends, just try this idea on, because it's really fun. But it's not just about astrology and understanding astrology. It's truly about understanding why souls gather together. So I want to tell you this particular video. Now, I have other videos where I do talk about compatibility and soulmates, but this video is not just a soulmate technique. And go watch my soulmate playlist. It's really deep and really profound and really, really good. And I go deep into Venus and Mars and the nodes. But in this one, we're not going to do that. This is a little bit more of a simplification. This isn't about, if I should marry this person or will this relationship last forever. Real compatibility is also deeper than just this one technique, but this one technique is really fun to do. And as an evolutionary astrologer, when I study romantic partnerships and relationships, I look at a dozen of factors in two charts before I draw real conclusions. So this technique is something different. It's about recognition. It's about why certain people immediately feel like familiar, why some friendships are just absolutely effortless. Do you have somebody in your life that is 0% on your nerves? Yeah. Look at this technique then. I'm going to show it with you, share it with you, show it to you, share it with you. But it's why some coworkers become natural allies and why some coworkers you just cannot get along no matter how nice you are. It's why families often repeat the same energetic themes generation after generation. It's why one sports team feels united while another's to find its chemistry. Let me just tell you, the American soccer team, I really, really felt we were going to beat Belgium. We didn't, for other reasons. But I felt like when I watched the United States beat Bosnia, Herzegovina, I felt like the United States soccer team in that game against Bosnia had chemistry. And I thought they had a lot of chemistry. They could be running the ball forward and they could shoot the ball backwards and there would be a guy right there. So this is like this chemistry for the group. And it's why you can feel united inside a friend group or any kind of group. And this is about understanding the invisible emotional language that exists between the different people that creates the collective friendship ecosystem that you're living in. It's really fun. By the way, if you are fascinated by this kind of astrology that goes way beyond sun sign astrology and stereotypes and teaches your soul actually how you are relating to one another or to others, I think you're going to love this channel. So every single week, I'm here at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time from Seattle, Washington, and I explore astrology on a much deeper level than you will normally find online. And if that sounds exciting to you, just take a second to like and subscribe and share this video. Please help me grow this channel because it helps me create free content like this for all of you. And now I have more than 2,000 videos for you to go explore. And if you're one of my returning subscribers, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. Welcome back. And I'm glad that you are here. So what if we've been asking the wrong question? Like, am I compatible with this person? But I don't think that's necessarily, it might not be the wrong question, but it might not be the most interesting question. Instead, what if we asked, what does this soul want to bring into my life? Because every single relationship teaches us something. Every friendship contributes something. Every family member carries a piece of our story. Some people teach us courage, some patience, some teach us how to laugh. Some relationships challenge us, some protect us, some inspire us. Some relationships are here to hold us accountable, and some simply just make us feel safe. And so when you begin looking at relationships this way, people stop becoming good or bad, compatible or not compatible, and instead they become contributors. Like, wow, what hard lessons did I learn from that person that I was not eventually compatible with? Every soul enters a relationship carrying an offering to you. And sometimes the gift is obvious and sometimes it's not. And so, one of my favorite ways to think about friendships is to imagine a thriving forest. Okay. Now, a forest does not survive because every single tree is just absolutely identical. You guys should come and walk in my neighborhood. There's 17 miles of hiking trails that are kind of hidden. And my very favorite one, I dubbed it the Enchanted Forest. And every tree is so different in their personalities. And so imagine if like all the trees tried to be the same, the tallest, or every flower bloomed exactly in the same season. The ecosystem would collapse. Nature actually thrives because every living thing contributes something unique all at different times. Some provide shade, some provide more oxygen than others, some stabilize the soil, some attract the pollinators. You guys should see my lavender fields in the back alley. They are so beautiful. Some nourish the next generation after they've already fallen. And I think human relationships work in the same exact way. Not everybody's supposed to play the same exact role. One friend might be the adventurer. That's what I saw in this little friend group. There was this one friend who's kind of the leader, one friend who is the supporter, one friend who is kind of a challenger, and one friend who is the adventurer. That's kind of how I would talk about that little friend group that my daughter was in yesterday. There's always this friend who knows how to make everyone laugh in the group, right? And then there's always another friend who quietly notices when somebody's hurting or feels left out. And then there's one friend who organizes the group. And then there's another who keeps everybody inspired and keeps the conversation going. And another asks the difficult questions that nobody else is willing to ask. And so which one are you, right? Start thinking about who you are. And none of those roles are better than the other. Like, we don't need 4 leaders. We don't need 4 adventurers. We don't need 4 deep people, right? The beauty comes from the combination and the originality of this group, of this book club, of this team, of this coworkers, of your family. And the ecosystem becomes stronger because everybody's contributing something different. And so here's where the astrology becomes so fascinating. Our birth charts oftentimes reveal what kind of energy we are naturally bringing into the ecosystem. Okay, so now let me give you the exercise that you're going to do. And then in my next video, I'm going to go through every single combination that we're going to discuss today. And I'm going to define those combinations for you, like what they actually mean to you. But now here's your little exercise. I'd love for you to do something with me. So don't just listen to this video. I want you to participate because it's really, really fun. I want you to think about 5 people that you would say live in a group. Okay. So it could be your mother, your brother, your sister, right? Your father and you, or it could be your 5 coworkers. Okay. So 5 people, you can be one of the 5. It can be bigger than that. It can be bigger than that. It could be 10 people, but people who interact with each other and you can see their interactions separate from your interaction with them. So you can see what role everybody's playing. It could be your book club, your coworker club, your sports team, right? Your rec club, your children. It can be your church group, whatever. It's just a group of people that your jogging group who spend time together consistently. Now, I want you to make 4 simple columns. I want you to write sun, moon, rising. Oh, and I also want you to put the house that the sun is in. I'm going to try to show it to you. I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay, here we go. I hope you guys can see this. So person 1. Okay, so you're going to like put the name of the person. So just do name. This should actually say name. Then you're going to do sun, the house that the sun is in, the moon, and then rising. And then you're going to put your friends. 1, 2, you can name your friends, of course. I just wanted to keep them all anonymous. And everybody should have co-star. Everybody should know. But the only way you're going to know your rising sign is if you know the time that you were born, the time that they were born. And so if you're on CoStar or if you have a software app or an ephemeris, you can look everybody up, but you're not going to get the rising sign piece to this equation. That's okay. You can still do the technique and the trick. You just won't have as many pieces of the puzzle to put together. But there are no aspects. We are not looking at transits. We're not looking at complicated synastry and bi-wheels. We're not doing complex astrology. We're just doing the sun, the house of the sun, the moon, the rising. There's only 4 pieces, you guys. And start filling in your chart. And you want to gather the information, and you want to gather this information in time for next week's video too, because we're going to go through the combinations. The patterns are going to start beginning to jump off the page, and you're going to start to notice that certain signs keep repeating themselves and certain elements appear everywhere you go. And some people seem to translate to one another naturally. Others balance the group in surprising ways. But by the end of this series, you're going to have a whole new way of understanding the people that you love. Now, before we move into the heart of this technique, I want you to remember just one simple truth. Astrology isn't asking whether 2 people belong together. Remember, it's asking, what is this person contributing to this person? And what is this person giving to this person? And sometimes the greatest gift of another person isn't just an agreement. It's not always comfortable. It's sometimes just perspective. And it's sometimes it's in being different, not being the same. And sometimes it's in offering things that are imbalanced. But just remember, the healthiest ecosystems are not built from the identical trees. They're built from extraordinary diversity. And I'm talking about astrological diversity where every living thing has a purpose. And I believe our relationships work exactly like this. So the 4 pieces of compatibility here, understanding what you're really meeting inside another person. Most people know their sun sign, their moon sign, and their rising sign, but very few understand what is actually contributing to the group. And so here's what I kind of want you to imagine. Every time you walk into a room, you're not just bringing one version of yourself. You're not just bringing sun sign Libra. You're bringing these 4. And these 4 are the things that you will work with inside your friendships, inside a group the most. Okay? So yes, I'll probably see your Jupiter and your Saturn, right? But in a group setting, I am going to be able to identify these 4 things inside of your energy and who you're being more easily than any other 4 things. So you're going to bring your sun, you're going to bring your moon, you're going to bring your rising sign. And here's the little golden caveat, the pearl of wisdom, the golden nugget, the thing that, I don't know, I just don't find anybody really talking about, but it's just so true. You're also going to bring the hidden essence, the hidden flavor, and the hidden meaning of the house where your sun lives. Yes, you heard that right. So the house of the sun is critical, and those 4 pieces are constantly interacting with everyone around you. So let's talk about how the sun and the moon and the rising and the house of the sun are a little bit different. And those 4 different pieces that are interacting with your friends' 4 different pieces. So your sun is your soul's purpose. You already know that. Let's start with the biggest misconception in astrology. People say, I'm a Leo, I'm a Taurus, I'm a Pisces. And as though your sun sign is your whole personality, right? And I don't actually believe that's true. Your personality is super connected to your rising sign. Your emotions belong to your moon, and your thoughts have their own symbolism using Mercury. We're not talking about that today, but your sun is something much deeper. It is the part of you that is trying to become fully authenticated and fully alive. It is your life's journey. It is your purpose. It is your identity. The person your soul is slowly growing into over the course of your lifetime. And the sun isn't just simply who you are today. It's also who you are becoming. Everything revolves around it. Without it, nothing grows, nothing survives, nothing awakens. Your sun is much the same as the sun in the universe. It is the gravitational center of your chart, and it is completely focused on answering the question, how can I become the more authentic version of myself? Every important decision you ultimately make is trying to answer that question. Is this authentically who I am and who I am supposed to be? Okay, this is why this matters. When two sun signs understand one another, there's immediate admiration, there's immediate respect, there's immediate encouragement. And these people tend to, so your sun sign with my sun sign, I get that it's sun sign astrology, but we don't stop the story there. But we do have to discern what your compatible sun with my compatible sun means. And then we're going to build on that. That's just the small foundation of the scaffolding. But these two people have a tendency to believe in each other's dreams. They naturally cheer each other on. They cheer each other forward into their life. They see the potential in the other person instantaneously. And isn't that one of the greatest gifts another human being can offer? Someone who reminds you of who you are capable of becoming by either being another version of that or supporting you in your own vision. And your sun isn't looking for someone to complete you. It's looking for people who encourage you to be more completely yourself. Yes. Okay, let's talk about the moon, the emotional heart, right? We have to travel inward. We have to travel inward to find our moon. And by the way, I have a whole playlist on the moon. So I really hope you guys are watching my moon playlist because it's deep. And I go deep into each sun sign on my channel, and I go deep into each moon sign. If the sun is your purpose, the moon is your emotional experience of the life you have created. The moon does not ask, who am I becoming? No. The moon asks, how do I feel? How do I feel about this? It represents your heart, your instincts, your emotional habits, the way you protect yourself, the way that you protect other people, and the way that you learned how to receive love. So was that healthy? I hope that was healthy. Yeah. If you're still listening, leave me a comment on what is your sun and what is your moon. This is how you naturally give love. This is also going to show us what helps you feel emotionally secure. And maybe more importantly, what helps you feel safe enough to become vulnerable. The moon does not have an IQ. It is not logical. It's not even really reasonable or rational. It isn't trying to win the argument. That's Mercury's job. It doesn't care if something makes sense. It just responds. It just reflects and reacts and remembers. It remembers every joyful moment, every disappointment, every comforting embrace, every heartbreak. The moon carries that emotional tapestry that lives inside of your heart, that makes up your heart. When somebody understands your moon, something so deep and so poignant and so beautiful happens. It's not just I'm in awe of you. It's, I get you. This is when you have moon sign compatibility, this is when you exhale. This is when you stop performing. This is when you stop editing your words. This is when you stop wondering if you're too much or not enough. This is when you simply feel safe. And I think that's why moon compatibility is one of the strongest indicators of lasting friendships. And in my part 2 video, we're going to go through all these possible combinations, the rising to the moon to the sun, the moon to the moon, the sun to the sun, the rising to the rising. It's going to be fun, but it's deep and it's long. And I had to break it up into 2 different videos, but I want you to at least have the assignment and start working on it, start building out your soul pods and bring them to part 2 of my video so we can talk about them and really, really, really understand them. So emotional safety creates trust. And I think when you have moon compatibility, it's one of the strongest indicators of lasting friendships. And when you have emotional trust or emotional safety, it allows love to grow. And so the people who love your moon don't just enjoy your happy moments. They know how to sit by your side in your hardest moments too. It's true. It's very difficult to not really care about somebody who has your same moon sign. Like moon conjunct moon, that's a big deal. If you're kind of realizing that your moon sign might even explain more about your relationship than your sun sign ever has, you're kind of beginning to understand why I love teaching astrology in the truthfulness of it. And inside the Athena Academy of Astrology, we don't just memorize keywords. We learn to recognize the living language of the soul. And I do that through exploring how each placement expresses itself inside real relationships, real families, real archetypes, real stories, and real life. And if that's the kind of astrology you've been wanting to learn, I would love to welcome you into our community and go check out my Athena of Academy of Astrology. You can start any day, anytime, anywhere in the world. You can do self-paced and live classes. We meet every Sunday at 11 a.m. And if you're watching this video later, you can do the self-paced and just jump in whenever you can. There's no pressure, but you can also get certified with me. I have a level 1, 2, and 3 certification program. And that opens up all kinds of opportunities and astrological doors for you. Let's talk really quickly about the rising sign and how it's different than the sun and the moon. You can only know the rising sign if you know the person's birth time. And I often tell my students your rising sign walks into the room several seconds before you do. It's your greeting, it's your posture, it's your pace, it's your impression. It's the energy people experience before they even know your heart. Think of your rising sign as the front door to your home. Some front doors feel warm and inviting. Some feel elegant. Some are playful. Some are mysterious. None are better than the other. They're just simply different invitations into the house. So your rising sign is the way that your soul is introduced into the world. It's your approach to your life. Very few people start with their soul unless their sun sign and their rising sign is in the exact same sign and the sun is in the first house. So this is your natural style of how you get people to engage with you, if you even do. How you begin a conversation, if you even begin one. How you respond to new situations. How you instinctively move through unfamiliar environments. What are you like in an unfamiliar environment? Are you curious? Are you quiet? Are you shy? Are you scared? It's also your physical presence. It's how you walk into the room. It is your body. It's not whether you're beautiful or handsome, but how your energy takes up space, how you carry yourself, how others instinctively experience you. This is why the rising sign compatibility often creates immediate chemistry, not necessarily romantic chemistry, social chemistry. And let me tell you, going back to this, if you have your sun and the house of the sun and the moon and the rising inside your own chart in compatible places, just a couple combinations, there is probably something about you that can grow social chemistry with strangers very, very naturally and very quickly. Conversation is easy and light, and you are probably socially charming, and you can get doors to open. But if you have this with another person, it's almost like spending time together just is effortless. And sometimes you've only met somebody for 10 minutes. Okay, yesterday at the World Cup, this thing happened. So my niece and I got to this restaurant bar, patio bar, where they were showing the game first. Then my husband came down, and then my daughter's group of friends came. Thank God my niece and I got down there first, so we scouted out this table. But I noticed this group of 5 gentlemen that looked like they had life going on, right? And my waiter said, if you're going to have more people at your table, because we were only at a little two-top, those gentlemen are leaving, you could snatch their table. So I went up there and I asked them, hi, you guys, I heard you guys have tickets to the game. Are you guys actually going to sit inside the stadium? They said, yeah, we are. I'm like, whoa. And he said, are you? And I said, oh God, no. No, like the nosebleeds were $2,500. No, we can't afford it. But if you guys are all going, could we have your table? Oh my gosh, they were just delightful. They were adorable. I said, how'd you guys get tickets? I'm just curious. And they all pointed to one of the guys and they go, he bought them for us. I'm like, you bought them? You bought them for all these friends? And they're all like, yeah, he's a really good friend. I'm like, can we all be friends too? Anyways, it was really cute. And I said, oh, so all of you guys are buying his drinks, right? And they're all like, nope, he's buying our drinks too. I'm like, wow, this is a nice friend. Anyways, it was so adorable. Another couple tried to, when we were moving over to their table, when they were leaving, and they did give it to us, they tried to take the table from us. And the gentlemen were like, I'm so sorry. We made a commitment to her and her niece. It was so sweet. So sweet. So, of course, I didn't have time to ask, what's your sun, moon, and rising, and what house is your sun in? But I am telling you right now, whoever I was talking to, yeah, that's a sun compatibility. That is a sun. It was a moment of admiration. It was a moment of, it wasn't reflective. It was instinctual chemistry, social admiration, right? And so when you have this kind of chemistry, I bet you if I would have figured out all of their astrology, which I would not have, even in just a couple minutes, you can feel this chemistry. And that might have just been a rising sign connection because you're speaking the same language. You're saying hello in the same way. That the gentleman that I was speaking to, I mean, all of them, but that one gentleman, he was meeting my rising sign where my rising sign was intending to go. He was not misunderstanding my rising sign, nor was I misunderstanding his. I wasn't really asking him for anything except the table, right? And then I was admiring him that they got to go into the stadium. Anyways, when you have rising sign compatibility, it creates an understanding and an ease. You are being reflected back to your own self. It's really, really fun. And sometimes we don't fall in love with someone's personality. Sometimes we actually fall in love with the feeling of being welcomed into someone's world. And I think that's what happened. And then my husband's so cute. He said, Meredith, the real that wasn't astrology. The real reason is your husband wasn't here yet. He's like, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful. You and Emma, you got this thing down. He's cute. He's adorable. Hey, he benefited. Now, this is the piece that's a little bit unusual, the piece that nobody ever talks about, the piece that is going to make this whole concept go deeper than you. Why do I talk about the house that the sun is in? Now, this is one of my favorite observations, and you're only going to know this if you have the birth time. But memorize, when you're talking to your mom, I want you to memorize what house her sun is in. If you're talking to your husband, I want you to memorize what house his sun is in, right? Like I know my husband, I don't even need to memorize it. I'm talking to a fifth house sun, and I am a fifth house sun. I'm a fifth house sun, and my husband's a fifth house sun. So we automatically are in trouble. We're in trouble because it's too much fun. It's too big. It's always a party. It's always a good time. And if you guys know me and Joe, you know, like, he's like, do you want to go home yet? No. Do you? No. Do you? I want to keep talking. I want to keep talking. I want to keep dancing. I want to keep dancing. Another bottle of wine? No, don't do another bottle of wine. No. Switch to water. But it is always a really fun time. So you want to memorize your son's house, the house in which your son is in. And because you need to memorize the houses in which your son's house is compatible with. We're going to go into it deeper, but we all know that your son has a sign, but your son also lives inside of a house. And that tells us, that house tells us where your soul most wants to shine, where it wants to create, where it wants to grow, where it wants to contribute, where it wants to become. Here's the fascinating part. Every house carries the natural flavor, the natural essence, the natural energy of one zodiac sign. And it's probably a different sign than your sun sign. So the first house, if you have your sun in the first house, you know that it carries the energy of Aries. The second house carries the spirit of Taurus. The third house carries the language of Gemini, and so on and so on. The fourth house is the energy of Cancer. And so through all 12 houses. So even if you don't have an Aries sun, if your sun lives in, if it lives in the first house, your soul still understands an Aries language. If your sun lives in the 8th house, your life's purpose naturally unfolds through the experiences that resemble Scorpio's evolutional journey. And so this creates a hidden layer of compatibility, right? So if your father is a Cancer and you're an Aquarius, but sun sign, but both of you have your suns in the 4th house, now we have undeniable chemistry, undeniable connection. So sometimes two people don't share matching or even compatible sun signs or moon signs, but yet they instinctively understand each other's life and life path because their suns are growing through similar archetypal landscapes. It's subtle, but once you begin noticing it, you'll see it everywhere. So let's just go through it really quickly. If you have your sun or moon in the 1st house, this is going to have an Aries energy, and this is going to carry a very strong identity, a courage, a new beginning. The 2nd house belongs to Taurus naturally. Even if you could have a Sagittarius sun or a Sagittarius moon, but if it's in the 2nd house, it's going to have a strong sense of values, stability, self-worth, like a Taurus. The third house is going to have a Gemini, a learning and communication energy. The fourth house is Cancer. It's going to want to have a sanctuary, emotional roots, depth, intuition. The fifth house is the house of fun, creative joy, authentic self-expression, the party never ending, love, laughter, life, right? The sixth house is service, devotion, self improvement, daily rituals, health, wellness. The seventh house is all about partnerships, cooperation, diplomacy, balance. The eighth house is somebody who is in understanding life and death, transformation, trust, vulnerability, money, finances, resources. The ninth house brings a wisdom, an exploration, a curiosity, a vision, visionary quest for the truth, and a big, big, bold, fun, playful personality, probably very funny. The 10th house is going to bring achievement, success, purpose, legacy, kind of the CEO of the zodiac, the great leader. This is Capricorn's house. The 11th house is going to have an Aquarius energy. Oh, if I didn't say ninth house, that's Sagittarius, 10th house Capricorn, 11th house Aquarius. The concept of humanity, community, friendship circle, hopes, dreams, wishes, somebody who's innovative, somebody who's a little bit rebellious, somebody who's finding their unique individuated self, somebody who can create a collective vision. And the 12th house is going to bring this compassion, this empathy, this spiritual connection, this divinity, this artistic love, if you will, this dreamy nature, and also probably this quietness, like in search of tranquility. So sometimes compatibility isn't found because you've got two moon signs or two sun signs, but it's that are compatible or in the same sign, but it's found because there are two souls learning the same lesson through different lives. So before we continue to the compatibility combinations in the next part, where I'm going to go into each one of these, I want you to write down your four pieces, at least for yourself: your sun, your moon, your rising, and then the house that your sun occupies. And then I want you to do this for all 5 people. You might need a week to gather the information. But I have a feeling you're already going to notice patterns with people. And I want you to put the patterns inside the comments section. I want to read them, and everybody benefits. Please leave a comment with your situation and your combinations. And I would love for you to also comment on other people's comments, because that's how we grow and that's how we learn. That's how we learn astrology, through this kind of dialogue and connection and communication. And by the way, if you've never had your birth chart professionally interpreted, I would absolutely love to give you a reading, or you can get a reading with Connie Joe. You can just book a reading at soulnavigation.com and click on book a reading. And we can go through all of this. And if for some reason you don't want to do that, or, you're just, tight on funds right now, don't want to make the splurge, but you're wondering how your sun, moon, and rising in your house placements shapes your relationship with somebody, this is exactly the kind of work that I do, and the reports that I sell in my shop support this. So my romantic compatibility report goes way beyond sun sign astrology, sun sign matching, to reveal how people support one another. And it also will go into like the combinations that are bringing you challenges. And it's one of my very, very favorite reports, because every relationship tells a unique story. So here it is right here in my shop. Just go to shopsoulnavigation.com. And this is really one of my favorite reports. If you would love to learn more about yourself, and not just for yourself, but for you inside your romantic relationship, this report, it's only $29, and it is so deep. You just need to send your birth information and your partner's birth information to teamsoulnavigation@gmail.com. It's right there. And I really, really encourage you to get this marriage and romance, love, romantic compatibility report. It's so good. Yes, it's just absolutely fantastic. Okay, we're going to keep going. So what do I mean when I say sun compatibility, or just compatibility? So compatibility is when your sun sign and their sun sign is in the same element. Okay. So the same element is if you're a fire sign and they're a fire sign, if they're an earth sign and you're an earth sign, if they're a water sign and you're a water sign, or if you're an air sign and they're an air sign. The other kind of really easy, simple compatibility is fire signs love air signs. Okay. Fire signs love air signs, with the exception of the sign that is opposite to you. So that's Aries and Libra. So that's an opposition, and that is difficult. Gemini and Sagittarius, that is an opposition. That's fire and air, but it is an opposition. And so therefore, that's a challenging aspect. That's not compatibility. Leo and Aquarius, that's fire and air, but they don't necessarily get along because they are opposites. Okay, you got it? So the fire and air signs like each other except for those oppositions. Also, if you have a sign in the same element, they like each other. We're not looking at orbs. We're not taking 10 degrees. We're just talking about hellos and working inside a group. Okay. So we're not getting down into the weeds for this. The next thing that I want to say is if you have a sun moon combination in the same way. Oh, I should also tell you the second compatible energy inside the sextile. So when it's in the same element, that's called a trine or a conjunction. And the fire and air, with the exception of oppositions, is called a sextile. So the other kind of compatible element you can have is earth and water. Okay. With the exception of oppositions. You got it? So Taurus is earth and Scorpio is the opposite to Taurus. And so those are not compatible. That's an opposition, right? Right? Are you guys with me? Cancer is water and it is in opposition to Capricorn. So that's a difficult combination, right? But the other earth and water signs get along with one another. And then the last one that we have is Virgo. Virgo and Pisces sit in opposition. So it's really important that you know your opposites. So it's Aries to Libra, Taurus to Scorpio, Gemini to Sagittarius, Cancer to Capricorn, Leo to Aquarius, Virgo to Pisces. And then it goes in reverse. Libra to Aries, Scorpio to Taurus, Sagittarius to Gemini, Capricorn to Cancer, Aquarius to Leo, and Pisces to Virgo. So those are hard aspects. Okay. So if you have your sun, moon, rising in the same element, fire, right? Or fire and air, but not the opposition, or earth and water, but not the opposition, then we have happy, compatible signs. And conjunctions are considered really compatible, super compatible. So if I'm a Gemini and I meet another Gemini, that's really compatible. And again, this is just inside the friendship group. This doesn't necessarily mean, I'm going to marry you and we're going to spend the rest of our life together. No. Okay, this might be a review for many of you, but it's not bad to review this because this is the most important piece of information you need to be able to do this technique and to understand compatibility really quick and fast and easy. So the 4 most important compatibility patterns in astrology, why some people make you feel at home and others that you've known forever don't, is this, and we're going to go into it. There's 2 that create ease, trines and sextiles. We will also give conjunctions that title as well. So trines, sextiles, and conjunctions. And then there are squares and oppositions. And once you understand these 5, including conjunctions, you're never going to look at astrology the same way. And by the way, I have an entire playlist that goes deep into the darkest parts, if you will, about aspects. So go look up my aspects playlist and spend time on that so you can really understand the depth of aspects. But I'm just going to give you a quick little tiny cheat sheet. Part 1. Okay. Part 1. The first one, trines, super easy. There's fire trines. So if you have Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, life becomes an adventure, right? You guys understand each other well. Earth trines, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. These people are the great builders. They can easily build practical solutions together. They just flow super easily. The next is an air trine. That's Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And this is mental chemistry. Add hello. Add hello. It's like pop rocks, popcorn, bada bang, bada boom. Ideas bounce back and forth effortlessly. It's like playing ping pong. And then there's water trines, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And this is an emotional resonance. I don't even have to talk to you. I intuitively and instinctively know what you're feeling. And the beautiful thing about trines is they create ease, they create comfort. Now, let's talk about the other compatible one, and that is sextiles. And sextiles are different elements that help each other grow. And I have a whole entire video on sextiles. And sextiles is I like sextiles better than trines even. And it happens when you have elements that are compatible. They complement each other. And you can think of them as teammates. So you have a goalie and a striker. They don't do the same job at all, but they complement one another. And they have a shared purpose, but different strengths. So fire and air, fire needs oxygen to burn. And air literally helps fire grow. Air brings ideas, fire brings the action. So together they say, let's do it. Let's do it. You want to do it? And they contribute excitement, inspiration, and adventure and optimism. And the other sextile that I love is earth and water. Water nourishes the earth. Nothing can grow in the earth without water. So one creates emotional safety and the other creates like physical security. And together they build long-lasting partnerships, and they steady one another. And while they might seem emotionally reserved, there is an instant depth of understanding. And sextiles are exciting because each person possesses a quality that the other person respects and admires, but maybe doesn't have to the same degree. Now, I want to talk about the conjunction. The conjunction is really easy. It's just if you've got something in the exact same sign. So 2 Geminis, 2 Aries, 2 Taurus, 2 Virgo. And for this assignment, don't care about the orb. You could be a 29-degree Virgo and I'm a 2-degree Virgo. We're just going to call it, for this little trick and technique, compatible. Why? Because I get you. Even if they're not in an exact 10-degree orb, I still get you. So the third one is the square. These are the people that are going to stretch you, that are not going to create instant chemistry, instant ease. These people are going to kind of needle you or make a joke that isn't so funny. Different approach, different priorities, different instinct, different talk, different kinds of communication. There's going to need to be a compromise. It's the person who bumps into you and you go, God, that was kind of rude. And they're like, sorry, you were in my way. No, I wasn't. You bumped into me. It's kind of like that. It's like, excuse me, right? There's an annoyance. There's an immediate annoyance. So the question actually is, are you willing to evolve? Squares will make you confront. Squares will make you work with the conflict. Squares are bringing awareness to the table, and they require you to grow. They require you to grow. So here are the squares, and the squares have different modalities. So the cardinal squares, everyone wants to be a leader in the cardinal signs, but they all lead differently. So the squares are: Aries is square to Cancer, Cancer is square to Libra, Libra is square to Capricorn, Capricorn is square to Aries. So do you have that? Do you have that? So the core differences are: is Aries wants to act right now, Cancer wants to feel it out first, Libra wants to discuss it, make sure we're all on the same page, and Capricorn wants to build an itinerary or a plan, and they all want to be in charge. So if you have any of those combinations, those are in challenge to one another and they create irritation. And you will grow if you can see their worth. You can evolve and grow beyond yourself. The fixed square is funny. It's like everybody digs in their heels. Nobody really takes charge. They all have a certain idea of how they want it done. And this is Taurus is in square to Leo. Leo is square to Scorpio. Scorpio is square to Aquarius. Aquarius is square to Taurus. So I'm going to give you a listing of your square pairings, okay? So Aries is square to both Capricorn and Cancer. Taurus is square to Leo and Aquarius. Gemini is square to Virgo and Pisces. Cancer is square to Aries and Libra. Leo is square to Taurus and Scorpio. Virgo is square to Gemini and Sagittarius. Libra is square to Cancer and Capricorn. Scorpio squares Leo and Aquarius. Sagittarius squares Virgo and Pisces. Capricorn squares Aries and Libra. Aquarius squares Taurus and Scorpio, and Pisces squares Gemini and Sagittarius. If you look more deeply, you will see those squares that I mentioned also have oppositions in them. So you also want to know that an opposition is quite difficult as well. And so I've already mentioned the oppositions earlier, but now you know conjunctions, trines, sextiles, squares, and oppositions. So if you've met somebody who your sun and their moon are square to one another, it doesn't mean it's bad, it's wrong, it's incompatible. It's just that you two are trying to solve a similar life problem with completely different operating systems. And so one might seek action and the other security. One wants harmony, the other wants achievement or success. And so trines and sextiles and conjunctions create similarity. Oppositions and squares create growth. And you probably, in truth, need what the other person has in order to really evolve beyond yourself. This is the very first piece of information you need to have. And in my part 2 video, we're going to go through the sun-sun compatibility, the moon-moon compatibility, and I'm going to go into defining what each one of these combinations means for your friend group. And in the interim, I want you to bring your 5 to 10 people in your group, your family, your tribe, your pod, and we're going to talk about it, and you're going to be able to see this relationship dynamic. And in certain situations, you're even going to be able to see how this one person inside maybe your family unit is connected to everyone, or how this other person has no connection to anyone. And you're going to be able to understand your group, your organization, your club, if you will, your friendship circle, the ecosystem of your circle, of your pod. And you're going to be able to see what every person is contributing to the wholeness of this group. So I want you to do your assignment. I would absolutely love for you to put your little stories in the comments and comment on other people's stories. And I want you to start thinking about your soul pods and your friendship circles and the ecosystem that they are built on and in. It's so, so exciting. I can't wait for my next video. Part 2 is coming, and stick with me right here on my Soul Navigation channel. Oh my gosh. Also, Seattle is on sale, and we have people already buying their tickets. If you want to come join us next May 13, 14, 15, and 16, 2027, right here on the glorious, gorgeous waterfront in Seattle. You will have a blast. Go check out everything that we are going to be teaching. Oh my gosh, Connie Joe just announced to me today that she is going to be doing your sexiest and your most romantic asteroids, maybe ones you've never even heard of. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We cannot wait. I hope I get to see you in Seattle, and before then at the Athena Academy, and before then right here on my Soul Navigation YouTube channel. Wherever you're at in the world, I wish you the very, very best. Take good care. Bye for now.